Business Spotlight, brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.
I'm Sonya. This is Business Spotlight in partnership with Cross Rhythm City Radio and Baba Baboon. Joining me in the studio this week, we're talking all about productions and events as we welcome Russell Coppock from PH Production Services. Hello, Russ. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm nice and warm in this studio.
Yep.
Are you?
Yeah, all good now.
Good. Well, thank you for coming in on Business Spotlight. We know it's not the first time you've been into this lovely studio. You came here previously with Connects in 2024, but this time we're talking about the industry that you're involved in specifically, which is productions.
Yep.
So, first of all, do you just want to elaborate and tell people a little bit more about what PH actually does?
So, PH Production Services is an event management company. So, what we do is we help our clients deliver their event. So that can be, it can be arts organisations. It can be, so you're doing either a theatre show or an outside show, and then putting those into site-specific locations, so places you would never normally put a show. So there's lots of challenges with that. Or it can be a theatre or a tour. We do work with corporate clients, so things like conferences, exhibitions. A lot of live streaming comes out of that as well, so kind of doing that to Facebook, YouTube and other things. But then we kind of get involved with live music events as well, some projects that we work on. We do a lot of faith-based organisations as well, so we do stuff like for the Methodist Church, so their national conferences and their youth events and things like that. So anyone who's got an event, big or small, we help them deliver it. We're glorified project managers really, but with a focus on everything from the technical side over to health and safety and all the bits in between.
So there's one thing that I'm just going to come back to you on is when you mentioned site-specific on spaces that you wouldn't normally go into.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
So that can be literally a car park.
Okay.
A cathedral. It can be a greenfield site, so a festival site, so you just literally a field. It can be a national park or even a local park like around here in Stoke, so we've done stuff in most parks around here. So yeah, things where you're not going into a space and everything's set up for you. You're literally going on a blank canvas and you have to do everything. So you bring in fencing for security, power, toilets, all the glorious things, bogs, benches, bins, that sort of thing. And then working out where the audience is going to go, how they're going to see the show, how they're going to do all that, and then deliver the shows themselves. So they might have big structures or require lots of technical elements. So it's kind of taking all those bits of information and then working with whoever owns the land. So if you're doing in a park, you've got to work with the council. So you've got to be able to make sure that they know, and we work with local councils quite closely to deliver those events. They trust us because we've got years of experience. And it's thinking about the unknowns. With anything with events, you can plan and plan and plan, but you're trying to think outside the box about what might happen and making sure you've mitigated those, certainly on a safety thing, while then creating a really enjoyable experience for the audience. And
in that state, as an audience member, going along to any event, myself have been to any events, whether it's locally within Stoke-on-Trent, even to some of yours that you've put on within the community, as well working with others, you might not necessarily think about everything else, because you don't think about everything else that's involved. And like you've just mentioned there, you're not just dealing with the setup as well, but dealing with like local authorities. And I can imagine doing all of that and all the planning can be quite time consuming as well.
It does. It takes months for any kind of event, whether it's a site specific or a corporate or whatever. You've got all those kind of list of things that you need to go through and check. And I'm one of those nerdy people who likes doing risk assessments, but that you've got to do those, and they're specific to every job. But yeah, there's all those things, and then you kind of, if you imagine you're working with so many different people, you're working with both the person who's doing the event, the audience, the landowners or councils or whatever. Then you've also got things like social media and PR and making sure that not all the events we get involved with the promotion, but some events we do, and you're making sure the right message and how to get there, all those sort of things. All those different things you've got to think about.
They all factor in.
They all make a part, and sometimes the clients, certainly dealing with new ones, you might get, we've not thought about that. that's fine, because that's what we do. That's what we're here to do, is take that off, and help people come up with different ideas, new ideas. And it's not about just doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's keeping it fresh and changing it and adapting with the audience as well. Like COVID is a perfect example of that. We did a lot of streaming in COVID and took events that would have had lots of people in a room, took them all online. Now we do a bit of both and keep those going.
So I suppose, I mean, that was obviously a challenge during COVID to do that. Like you say, all the events everywhere was just wiped out.
Yeah.
But to keep things going like that, I suppose it's then also diversifying isn't it, in everything that you've just said there, and how to actually put on an event when these challenges come up. So would you say COVID has been one of the biggest challenges within the industry, or is the other challenges that are also faced?
I think diversifying is a key thing. So we were doing streaming before it was streaming. That sounds ridiculous, but what we would do is we would take a studio like this, take it to an event, set up multiple cameras, record it, edit it really quickly and upload it. So it would look like a live show. And this was before Facebook Live. YouTube was just coming out, but it was really buggy and horrible. So we were doing that for a few years before it came out. Then streaming became a thing, and it was like, brilliant, we're all set up for this and we adapt. And because we've been doing that for years before COVID, we were set up for doing it. The challenge is looking at what's next. Yeah. And what's next in the line. Technology plays a big part in that, certainly in this industry. But it's about knowing audience requirements. What do they want? Do they want a live show? Do they want an experience? Do they want to go somewhere and be surprised? And how do you then deliver those while always working to a budget and always working to a timescale? Yeah. So, for instance, with events, if a show starts at 7 p.m, it starts at 7 p.m. There's no, we might get it working for 7, or it'll be tomorrow. That doesn't happen. COVID was a massive challenge for us. I think we were very lucky. A lot of companies in our industry unfortunately went under at that time because of resources. One thing we do struggle with still to this day, and there's a lot of statistics out there, is people who work in the industry left.
Right, okay. Because
there was no work for them, so they had to diversify themselves. And they went, I don't want to go back on tour, I don't want to do this, I'm going to keep my really simple job. So we lost a lot of really good people. So filling that technical skill set is a challenge. And again, the way that we work is everyone has to be very multifaceted. You've got to be a little bit of sound, a little bit of video, a little bit of lighting. You've got to know all those areas, because a lot of the work that we do requires that. And we have a really good team locally of people that we pull on, and nationally. But again, they need to keep up to date, to keep up with what's changing, and we try and help with that as best we can. So, and challenges it's economic. Yeah. So if we're heading to a recession or something like that, entertainment's one of the first thing that goes, isn't it? Yeah. You lose that. So we have to diversify in the skill sets and the kind of offering that we have to clients to make sure that we keep going. So you're kind of always thinking about what's around the corner and what's there, while also trying to create exciting live events for people. Yeah. And there's lots of things to think about. Yeah. And we're a relatively small team. There's really me and Pete are the core on PH Productions. We have a few people that work with us on a few other projects like Connects and Honeybox and the team that work there, and they kind of spill into that. But essentially the core team is us, and we pull on that resource that we've got locally. And
I think, you mentioned there, like, that skills, I suppose, almost like the skills gap within the industry, COVID having a knock-on effect. Yeah. And I think that happened in quite a lot of different sectors as well, didn't it? Where people started to think, well, actually, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to try something else or go off and to do something. But to hear now, still now, a few years down the line, to say that you're still facing that within the industry, can you foresee that? Or can you foresee how that can change? Or have you seen any sort of developments where it is getting better, or is it still a major factor?
I think there's different areas to that. Education's a big one, because there are lots of courses that are around the country where you can go and do live entertainment technology, for instance. There's one in Derby. There's a great one down, I think it's Falmouth, Dartmouth, that way down there. There's a great one there. And then there's a lot of colleges. So locally, Performing Arts College in Newcastle has a great team there, and they're delivering that. And Stoke's doing one on broadcast now. Newcastle College is doing the Institute of Technology. So there's all these things, certainly in the broadcast industry, where young people are going to get the opportunity to come and do these things. The step for them is getting them into industry. Yeah. And getting them into those experiences where they can see it, do it, and try it. That's how we learn. Yeah. I don't have a university degree. This was a hobby for me. Yeah. This was what I did this through church. Yeah. And I did it through there, and then eventually became into the kind of doing it as a day-to-day thing. So I still see it as a hobby and just get to do it as my work as well. But
that's the best way.
Yeah. Yeah. And helping people, and we try and give those opportunities to people. So it's like Honeybox, for instance.
Yes, so just explain what Honeybox is.
So Honeybox, for 8 series now, is a live stream music experience. So we have a little studio set up, we have an audience and a band and a couple of solo artists, and we create a live studio environment where the audience gets to see the live performance, but we stream it as well. And then we produce edited videos of all those tracks for the bands to use. The team that deliver that, all volunteers. Yeah. Nobody gets paid for doing that as a Honeybox experience. So all the people that work with that are either freelancers who we work with normally, who give their time and can see the need for that for local music, because local music's a big challenge to push compared to corporate music, shall we say, and national radio and that side. Yeah. But a lot of the guys have come to that, had a look, and then get work out of it as well. Yeah. So they've joined and they've put their toe in the water, gone, I like this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do more of that. That's one of the big things, I think, is getting experience for people. And then having people having the initiative to be able to go, I want to change what I do. I'm not just this, I can do more. That's a big thing for people to do that. And we will support people who come up and show that and give people the opportunity. We're really lucky with the freelancers we have. A lot of them are going, I'm up for doing anything. We're doing, I was chatting to Chris before, we're doing a workshop for audio engineers from a local sound engineer. And it's a free thing. It's a funded project through Honeybox Hive, but it's giving people real world experience of doing sound engineering. Well, why is everyone who's not interested, even just to recap on your own skill set, just jump on it? Yeah. That's what we do. We have to train ourselves on other things. And
to be honest, Russ, as well, I've had conversations a lot recently over the last how many months with, organisations in the education sector as well, and saying how they're so keen, like the likes of the colleges, the local colleges, to bring in more businesses, to provide these opportunities. Yeah. And if you agree, but the more we can talk and connect with each other, surely, and especially locally, we can keep that skill set within Stoke-on-Trent and Newcastle-under-Lyme. Yeah. Pete
Herbert, who set up PH Productions, is a massive advocate for that. He's very much about giving back. And we do that through the college schemes, through Honeybox, and he works with a lot of the people kind of building those connections to do that. And then together we kind of push out what we can and help where we can. Again, working in a corporate, as a commercial entity, there's only so much time you can give back into that, and you've got to work that. But we're very lucky that we can bring people in to what we're already doing. We're not having to create an environment for that to happen. We can kind of share that. And if we can share our skill set with anybody else, why would you not do that?
And I'm just going to come back to you personally, if that's okay, because you mentioned that you started off, it was your hobby to do this. And how did you transition then? What was it that, what was the opening?
So I used to do it as a kind of volunteer myself for events within the church environment. And I met a few people through that. I was an IT director previously, and the industry was getting hit hard, like as it does. Industries get hit back in the career life. And I just made a choice to go freelance and do that. And then long term became more of a partner with Pete and pushed into that, really. But again, you have to ask. Yes. That's the trick, is go, can I come on that? Can I have a look at that? Can I have a chat with you about that? Can I have a coffee? Yeah. And do that. And that's how it works. And be cheeky.
Be cheeky. Be persistent.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah. Because you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly.
So that's kind of how I got into it. And then you just develop, you learn. Yeah. And you learn from the people you work around with you, and you go, I don't know a lot about that, but I'll give that a go. And Yeah, and having just like you say, putting yourself out there to do it.
Put yourself out there, adding to your skill set, like you say, learning, not being afraid to ask questions, and just getting to know people, networking. So which leads me on actually to, which is part of a networking, another event that you're actually involved in, that PH are involved in. It's not just a networking event, but this is like a little festival which is taking place, I believe, in Newcastle-under-Lyme. Do you just want to explain and introduce what this festival actually is and why it's taking place?
So this is the Newcastle-under-Lyme Business Festival.
Okay.
It's a collaboration between ourselves, so PH Productions and Connects Networking, with Newcastle Borough Council. Creating a week long of events in Newcastle.
Okay.
With a couple of reasons for doing it. One is building the community in Newcastle businesses, showing that Newcastle is a great place to work and move your business here and do that. But it's also about innovation. So it's like we work with Keele University and the colleges. So Keele Uni are doing one day literally about innovation, what technologies and solutions are out there, and using an expo environment and some guest speakers to show that, promote that, and how people can use it.
I just asked, are they doing it up at the university, Keele, or they're doing it in the Keele in
They're
town?
doing it at the university.
The university, okay.
We are using Keele in town for lots of other things. There's a lot going on for a week. So Monday, the first day of the event, we've got some guest speakers in the morning. We've got Keith Browmer-Jones coming down to do the first guest speaker slot, and Chris Daniels from Cyberkill doing kind of an opening session, with some keynote speech, and then moving into town to do lots of workshops. Okay. So that's kind of our entrepreneur day. So there's lots of courses on how you can, there's funding available out there, what resources, like HR resources, but then some inspirational talks as well. So we've got Give Energy are coming down to talk, and the CEO of that's coming down to talk about his story with that. And we're using all the spaces in Newcastle town. One, helps promote them. But then creates an environment where people can network and meet each other. Then Tuesday, again, there's loads, so apologies, I'm rambling. Tuesday's up at Keele, up at the Nice Coates building. Which is the Innovation Day. So they've got some panellists and some guest speakers, and then an expo of about 30 businesses promoting themselves. So a lot of those are people who are already at Keele who are working on those new innovative programs. Wednesday, we're back at the college in the morning. We've got Andy Spinoza coming down, who wrote Manchester Unspun, a big PR Manchester music. So he was heavily involved in the Hacienda, and it's kind of how does that creative culture change a corporate environment, and how that's changed Manchester over time. So it's really interesting.
Interesting, definitely.
We've also got Rob Fisher from Strategy doing a little talk about kind of his history and his kind of thing. So we're trying to do big speakers and local speakers to kind of inspire people with that. And then again into the afternoon we've got workshops and stuff like that. So going on town. The other thing we've got over Monday and Wednesday is we're opening the market. So we're opening the market up to any business or organisation. You can be a sole trader, a business, whether you're a product sales or you do service sales, you can book a market stall and promote yourselves for free.
Right, okay.
So
and that's in Newcastle Town Centre?
And the markets. We're actually expanding the markets to have more stalls because we won't have enough stalls for the number of people who've registered. So we'll be doing, so we're calling it like a business showcase. So businesses can just register and then you can meet people in the town, meet people as part of the event and do that. So again, and all these events are free. It's all funded by UKSPF funding. Thursday we're doing a Women in Business Day, which you're part of as well. You're helping us host, and doing a panel session at the end. So we've got a number of local female guest speakers who are coming to tell us their women in business story, really. And then Friday,
and where's that taking place?
That's at King Street Studios. That's our studios in Newcastle. So we're limited with the number of people we have for that. So that's book that one quickly, really. But that should be a really inspirational day as well. It's just having that different angle, isn't it? And then Friday we are doing what we're calling open doors. So businesses can register for this. Again, there's no cost. And basically, you as a business opening your door to people for them to come in and have a look at what you do, how you do it. And if you've got any recruitment opportunities, then you can talk about those. And it's just an open door idea for a few hours on that day.
Yeah.
People can just come along, meet your business, have a look around. So yeah, we've got loads of registrations for that now as well. So that'll all be going out. So it's all on the nulshapingthefuture.co.uk website.
Yeah.
There's a little plug. And you can see all the day's activities. You can book tickets for all that. You can register for your stall, or you can register for the open doors. And you can get in touch through there as well.
And the first date is Monday the
10th of March.
10th of March, and it runs all that week.
Yeah.
All week.
So we're trying to keep it between like 10 and 3.
Yeah.
So there's people can come through and work, or they're not asking you to take the whole day. And there'll be refreshments and little things and keeping you going. And it's about, we want people to use the spaces in town. So there's loads of, people might whinge that there's lots of coffee shops in Newcastle, but it's brilliant because it's lots of different places to meet.
Yeah.
They're meeting the need of what's wanted in the town, but we want to get people into those spaces.
Yeah.
So we want people to use those to go and have a coffee, network with people, but then at the same time using places like Keeling Town that's just opened for workshops. We're doing a speed networking with the Chamber of Commerce. They're organising that in the Keeling Town. So yes, I could sit here for a week talking about it, literally, because there's so much each day.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah. But it's trying to provide a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And what you can take away from it, what you can utilise as well through those stories. People can just do one day, or they could do every single day.
And this is the first time, is it? Something like this has ever happened in Newcastle?
It is, absolutely, yeah.
So from what you've said there's like, how many? Lost count. I need more than my fingers, my toes, and all sorts of how many organisations, though, are getting involved in this.
Yeah.
So it really is something for Newcastle-under-Lyme as well, especially, to be really proud of.
It is, and we're really lucky to be part of it and working with Newcastle Borough Council to do that. So we're working with people like the Growth Hub, the colleges, so Newcastle College, Keele, and then ourselves as Connection. And it's just utilising everyone's skill set to be able to deliver something locally. Yeah. You're right, there isn't anything like this happened in Newcastle before. We don't want this to be a one-off either. We want this to continue. It was born out of Connects networking, of a monthly network meeting, again open to people free of charge to come and promote yourselves and meet new people. And for us, this was about creating a one day. Originally it was going to be just a one day thing to kind of promote a lot of people wider, and then it's kind of grown and got bigger and bigger. So, and it's not far away now. It's only a few weeks away.
It's not far away at all.
No. But it's really exciting, and it's there's a lot of things to still do and organise. But you'll see branding. We're doing wayfinding. We've even got, again, working with people that offer their services. There's a program called Active Travel, which is a pilot scheme in Newcastle. They're bringing a load of e-bikes, so electric bikes, and you can just borrow a bike to go from the college to the town centre.
Wow. Okay.
And you'll pick it up and leave it there. And it's about raising the profile of that organisation who do guided cycles and guided walks around the town of Newcastle, but not a lot of people know about them. So they're coming along, they're bringing a load of bikes and e-bikes, and they're going to be at the college. And it's all those things who people come with, I'd love to get involved. How do you want to get involved? And that's always the question we ask is, if you want to get involved, how do you want to get involved? I could tell you what to do, but it'd be much better if you come to us with an idea, because then you're utilising what you know you've got to give.
Definitely. And again, from what you said, I mean, people can just go along to the website and just register for as much or as little as they want to come along and see, to get to know. But even when you talk about the markets as well, businesses having like their own little expo in a way down on a market stall. There's something really different and nice to do. You can pay hundreds of pounds to go and exhibit an expo or an exhibition hall or whatever, and we're going, all right, all you got to do is come down. We're offering it free of charge. We're putting on entertainment in the town as well. Oh, go on.
So we've got musical artists on the Monday and Wednesday to support the actual market stalls. Okay. So we've got 3 different artists on the Monday and Wednesday. We've got Poetry Takeaway coming. Now, Poetry Takeaway, we've worked with Appetite locally on this. It's a group of poets who work out of like a little food trailer, and you go to them and they'll write some poetry for you. So you're going to go with them and they'll give you suggest 5 things to do with your business. And then they will write a little poem and work with you to do that. And they give that and you go away with it. Again, free of charge. But it's about, for us, the one thing that I think makes us different from a lot of other networking organisations, because of our connections across different sectors, we love to include corporate and arts.
Yeah.
We know that they work well together.
Yeah.
A lot of our guest speakers at our networking meetings are a mixture of corporate and arts, because the more you can get them more involved, the more that people can engage in that local culture, it strives for growth, and we want to do that, and we've got a few other little bits coming as well. But yeah, so there's not only is there kind of great talks, workshops, marketing, market stalls, there's entertainment, there's culture, and we'll have branding all around the town, and you'll be able to see that. There's TVs up in the town now with adverts for what's going on, and
so it is it's not a mini festival.
No,
this is a big festival.
It's a big
really.
festival,
yeah, for Newcastle. Well, Russ, I can't wait to see everything in action. And like I say, I will definitely be there, obviously supporting you, but I'll definitely be there going around and saying hello to other people as well, and just seeing what's happening. But I'd love for you to come back as well to talk about this after the festival, to find out exactly how things have done. Maybe bring a business with you as well, potentially who's been involved, which would be really nice for Business Spotlight. But just before you go, can you just again give out the website again where people can go along to register for the Newcastle-under-Lyme Business Festival? Yeah,
so it's nulshapingthefuture.co.uk.
nulshapingthefuture.co.uk.
Yeah. And if you use that as a hashtag as well, there's loads of social media posts through our Connect networks you can find on there, and links and things like that. But yeah.
Brilliant. Russ, thank you so much for coming here on Business Spotlight. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Brilliant. Thank you for having me.
No problem. That's Russ Coppock there from PH Productions, also talking about the NUL Shaping the Future Business Festival, which is taking place in March.
Business Spotlight, shining a light on our local business community. Brought to you by Cross Rhythms and Baba Baboon.